Kirsten says, what does standing in faith look like when you go from believing for a promise and doubting, like a roller coaster? God told me just believe. Don't know what that looks like. Being in faith, 2 Corinthians 5:7 says we walk by faith and not by sight. Here's the thing, it means that you had the choice. You had the choice to walk by faith. And I'm thinking about Abraham again. We started this program talking about Abraham, and about how, he had the opportunity to go back, right? He left. I love the story of Abraham. You see this in Hebrews and in Romans, and obviously it's in Genesis, but in Hebrews and Romans, there's like a commentary on it. And it says that he left his town. So he left to go, not knowing where he was going. That's what you call walking by faith. He left, not knowing where he was going. But he said, if he'd had opportunity, if he'd thought back,
if he'd have an opportunity,
if
he'd considered where he'd come from, he would have had opportunity to return to it.
We butchered that. If he'd considered where he'd come from, he would have had opportunity to return. So it's really about your mind, the powers in your mind, what you're thinking on. To stay in faith, you have to be proactive and keep yourself in faith. You're not going to be in faith by accident. You're going to have to be proactive. That means reading scriptures, writing scriptures out, meditating the word. That means keeping yourself in the word. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So things like listening to these programs, reading the word, things like that. And then when symptoms come, when doubts come, you have to counteract them. You have to actually purposely replace those thoughts. Take every thought captive.
Yep.
And
so what you don't consider is just as important as what you do consider.
Come on, Carlie, it's good.
And we need to...
What you don't consider is just as important as what you do consider.
Yeah, so in other words, when Jesus was tempted in Luke, read through Luke chapter 3 and 4, okay? But when he was tempted, the enemy came to him and he tempted him with things that, and yet Jesus was tempted and did not sin. Okay, what this means is these thoughts, these opportunities to believe in a lie came to Jesus. These opportunities to believe what the devil was presenting to him came to Jesus, but he chose to stand against that. And what he did, he rebuked the enemy with the word, and he said, "It is written," 3 times. It is written. And, walking by faith doesn't mean that we don't have opportunities to consider a lie. It doesn't mean that we don't have opportunities anymore to entertain fear or doubt or unbelief or lose our temper. Or it doesn't mean that we don't have opportunities to do those things. It doesn't mean that those things don't come to us. It just means that when they come, and they will come, okay? The enemy with Jesus, he departed for a more opportune time.
Yeah.
When those things come to us, we go back to the word. Walking by faith means going back to what did the word say?
Yeah.
What did the word say? I know what the circumstances are saying, but what does the word say?
Come on.
And, there's going to be certain things in your life where you might have to stand on the word of God over and over and over again. That's right, until it becomes established in you. So if you're struggling with a pain or a symptom in your body, what does the word say?
Come on.
Every time that pain comes, what does the word say? Or maybe you're struggling in your finances, and that every now and again you get that fear in the pit of your stomach that thinks, I don't have enough, I don't know if I can pay this bill.
Mammon.
What does the word say?
Mammon speaking to you. Mammon speaking to you, saying, you're going to go broke, you're not going to make it, cares this world. Yep, what does the word say?
And eventually, you get to a place where you just think, hang a minute, that thought, that fear, that pain hasn't come to me today.
Come on.
Right? You might have had to fight it 10 times, 20 times in one day, and then one day you realise, hang on a minute, I haven't had that pain in a while.
Come on.
I haven't had that fear gripping me. Why is that? Because you've stood on the word. You've walked by faith.
Come on, Carlie.
We walk by faith more than we realise that we do.
Come on.
Right? Because oftentimes it's in the times of peace. We don't realise we've got to those times of peace because we've walked by faith to get there.
Come on, Carlie.
Okay, we've got what we don't consider is just as important as what we do consider.
That's so good.
We're talking about God's goodness. Healing is part of the package that we get as born-again believers. It's not an optional extra. That's a huge statement. He was saying, it's finished. It's completed. Everything in here, healing, deliverance, freedom, liberty, it's all paid for. You don't have to do anything else to receive it other than say thank you.
Register today for The Cure at terradez.com/events.